Hello, my name is Teal Havens. I'm with the Trubro Group. And I'd like to thank you for joining me on the fourth episode of the Family of Ease. In the first three episodes, if you haven't watched that, which I highly suggest you go back and watch it. So let's recap. The first episode was energy. Energy can be defined as the amount of power that is accessible for action. The second episode was exertion, which is the activation of that energy through action. The third episode was effort, and that's the manner by which the energy is used. It's the knowledge that's important, and the knowledge that has spurred me to create this YouTube channel and these videos. I am not a YouTuber. I am not an influencer. You notice in my videos, I do not ask you to subscribe or like the video. This is for people who are truly looking for real answers for business operations. They're looking to improve for real answers in their personal finance and their business finance. I'm not here to fluff things up. I'm not, and I keep, this was hard for me to do. This series was hard for me to do because I keep my knowledge close to my chest. I don't show my cards. And since I was a little boy, energy has been a huge factor in my life. And I realized in my middle age that it is the key factor in all things. How does all this come together? Well, it comes together in effectiveness and efficiency. And efficiency is a huge, huge key to life. Okay? And you might say, well, isn't efficiency and effectiveness the same thing? Or, well, they might not be the same thing, but they're pretty much the same thing. No, they're totally not. So here's my definition of efficiency. It's increasing the payout while decreasing the cost to you. Okay? So let's put this in terms of energy, because energy is what you control. Okay? You can control your mind and mental energy, whatever. I'm talking about actual energy. Your mind controls your body, your behavior, your speech, and there is an energy that goes on when you thought patterns. When you're talking about your mindset, there is an energy up there, an energy exchange through neurotransmitters, a physical energy. I'm not going to get into all that. We're talking about payout. We're talking about earning money. Okay? So work. So you put forth energy to get a return on that energy. And one of my biggest things is people are brainwashed. I hear it all the time. I hear millionaires. I hear close to billionaires. They talk about time. Oh, you don't have all the time. How are you using your time? How you spend time. I'm so sick of the world and the gurus brainwashing everyone, and starting with our children, brainwashing everyone. And this is my little rant here, that time is what we have and what we control. Time is not what we have. It is not what we control. Time is an organizational tool so that we can come together now worldwide, thanks to the technological age we're in, and we can work nights, we can work weekends, we can increase our work hours, we can work from home. We're not in the industrial age anymore. We do not have to report for the 8-hour workday, 30-minute lunch break, 15 minutes after 10, yada, yada, yada. We're also not in the agricultural age, however. I live in a community where the agricultural mindset still exists. And please excuse me, I'm having my morning cup of coffee. And when I get heated about this subject, because we center our lives around what everyone else tells us. And who is in control of this? I don't have a problem with, and I'll get off this rant really quick. I don't have a problem with organizational tool time. Just like I don't have a problem using fiat monetary units as a a societal tool for commerce. Okay? But I will not be brainwashed or made believe that that is how I will make my money, utilize my time to make my money. No, I'm utilizing my energy because that's what I control. My energy comes during my lifespan. My lifespan cannot be quantified, yet it is gauged in hours, days, months, years. Happy birthday, mine's coming up. I don't mind using money, I don't mind using time, but our lifespan is gauged in time. So I'm so many years old. You know, we get our babies, you know, or newborns. Oh, she's so many days old. She's so many months old. Oh, she's walking, or he's walking it at 10, 11, 12 months old. Oh, they're teething it. And we gauge everything by time. That's fine. That's organizational. That helps us with memory. That helps us plan our future. That helps us plan our day. That's perfectly fine. Have nothing wrong with that. I have nothing against that. What I do have against that is we set our work lives around that. And it is limited because the earth only has so much time. You can only gauge that. You can chop it up into whatever, and it's still finite. So what do? Well, during our lifespan, which is what we own, we just can't quantify it because you might get hit by a bus tomorrow, you might develop cancer in your 40s or 50s, or God forbid earlier, you might be like me, born with a congenital heart condition, and you might face a surgery, which I did not. Have the same heart that I was born with, and that, you know, I mean, you can call it what you will. I call it, you know, God's hand on my life. You can call it what you want, but here's the truth. I learned that energy is what I owned. My energy is what I controlled. If I exerted or activated my energy through a certain action in a manner, meaning my effort, in an effective and efficient, and not or, but and efficient way, which efficiency, where I got payout by decreasing the amount of energy, I got the result I wanted with the decreasing amount of energy that I had, then I was good. But I had to learn how to do that because people with normal hearts could do whatever they wanted. And what was frustrating to me is I could see that they weren't reaching their maximum potential, and I wanted that maximum potential, and I had to rearrange and utilize my energy in such a way that where I could operate normally. And so this is why my eyes were open, and I was not brainwashed as easily. I bought into the lie for a long time. Most of my adult life was centered around, how am I going to utilize my time to make money? And that's just an absurd statement. How are you going to sell your time? That's an absurd statement. What are you going to do? How are you going to spend your time? That's an absurd statement. Stop saying those things. How are you going to utilize your energy? How are you going to exert your effort? Meaning, what manner are you going to activate your energy? Because energy is the power that you have. If you don't exert your energy at your job, your boss doesn't have the completed job he needs done. You might not get paid, but he also is in trouble. This is why low-level workers, but entry-level workers, or the workers that, you know, the laborers, the W-2 workers, like my father, who was an iron worker. If he didn't get in and he didn't do his job and do it well and do it proud, things didn't get built well. Buildings, skyscrapers, they didn't get built well. Roller coasters didn't get built well. Things fell apart. People got hurt. He had to do his job well. He had to do it in a timely manner. Why? Because it was all centered around time. That's okay. We want this job to start on Thursday. We want it done by next Thursday. You have a week to do it. Okay. Now, the real key is, how am I going to utilize my energy to do that? It's not the time that makes you the money. It's the energy you exert and the effort you put forth that makes the money. And you need to learn to do it in an efficient manner, meaning you need to increase your payout by decreasing the amount of energy you exert and the effort you put forth. Now, this is an equation, right? Increasing payout, increasing the results, decreasing the energy. That's an inverse relationship, right? It's an equation. Now let's go to effectiveness. So that's efficiency. That's how I define efficiency, because it is efficient. Because if I'm using less energy to achieve the payout or the goal, the target that I want, excuse me, then I am more efficient with my energy. If I learn how to allocate my energy, if I learn how to invest my energy appropriately, effectively, okay, here we go with effectiveness. Now I can become more efficient. I become more powerful with my energy. What is the power? Power is the ability to act. What is energy? The amount of power you have accessible for action. See how all this ties in? It's not about time, people. So if you're getting older, and you're like, oh, I don't have retirement. And you're like, oh, I don't have this, or I don't have that. What am I going to do? I don't have enough time. I don't have 20 years. What do I do? I've just pissed away this, or I've done this, or done that. What do I do? Understand, you still have your energy. Don't buy into the lie that you bought in for so long. This takes the power away from the big companies that would convince you of the time that you have to work. Because now we have a 24-hour day to work. And not all jobs, but a lot of jobs, and I don't know the percentage, I really haven't looked into it, but a lot of jobs can be done from home, can be done at night. And some labor jobs, like my dad, the iron worker job, you got to work when there's, decent weather. You got to work in the daylight hours. You can't, I mean, some maybe you might be working at night, but I've never really seen that. So there's some jobs when you do have to use daylight hours, okay? So that does limit it. So you do need to organize when you have the availability to work via our physical environment. But you really own your energy, and that's really what makes you your money. It's not time. And if you have a certain time span which you have to work, then you have to think about how you're going to invest your energy, not your time. So, effectiveness would then be the quality of producing the desired result. Now, this is the real world, okay? Because we have the last part, and I'm just going to throw this in here. We don't need to do another episode on it. It is the planned or ideal version of effectiveness, the quality of producing the desired result. That's the real world definition. But what do you do when you plan something and it's the ideal version of it and you measure it against the real world? Well, that measurement is what we call the efficacy of it. Are you following me? So you have the efficiency balance. Well, let's just call it a balance. The efficiency balance, the payout versus the energy. And, you don't want them balanced. You want the payout to go up and the energy to decrease. You don't want the energy to increase and the payout to decrease. And that's what so many people, that's where people will start to get frustrated. That's why you see people get frustrated. When it reaches the balance point and it tips in the opposite direction, you can almost guarantee, because they've lost control of their life. Basically, they've lost control of what they know they have, and they're losing energy. They feel like they don't have the energy to go on. They're tired. So you look at the effectiveness. So you look at and you say, okay, well, I have this efficiency, and I got this payout, and it's energy, and I put this energy into it. I invested this energy into it, and I got this payout. Now, how effective was I in doing that? Well, what's the quality of this? Is the quality of this pretty high? Because if this is pretty high and I put this energy into it, then I've got a good investment in my energy. I've got a good payout. I produced a good desired result. Okay? So when you look at that, and you look at what you've planned, and you look at what actually has happened, when you measure that, now you've got a measurement of efficacy. So, okay, well, how close is it to where I thought I was going to be? That's efficacy, okay? This is the complete family of ease. I did it in 4 episodes. Yay. Okay? So this is what I'm going to end with. Rose Hahn, and you need to look her up, and you need to watch her videos, and you need to learn from her. She is fantastic, and she's the only one that hit on this, but she did not have the name for it. The name for it is the effectiveness ratio, and this is what people are wanting when they talk about financial freedom. But most people, the 2 things they want, and nobody's recognizing, is that they are putting in what they truly own, their energy, and no one is recognizing that that is the true commodity that the worker or the business owner puts in to whatever they do to make money, not time. The second thing is the effectiveness ratio. Now, efficiency is increasing the payout while decreasing the energy. We're going to talk about a similar equation when we get to the financial triangle. If energy is what costs you, then that is your expense, okay? How do you gauge your energy? That is something for you personally to decide, okay? I'm going to try to do this very skillfully because it's kind of an awkward position. I wasn't planning on doing this. So the effectiveness ratio. Go into the ER. You're going to check your status. So it's going to be your total expense, or I'm going to say total cost, okay, divided by your total payout. Okay, why is this important? Employers have to understand this. This is why they mess with the minimum wage all the time. And this is why this is a factor. People get so disgruntled. Well, I should earn more money than, because they feel like, and this is a feeling, your energy, you are like, I'm working my tail off. Now, some people can be very unrealistic about how much energy they're putting in. And that is true. You have to be very realistic, and you have to be very honest with yourself when you're evaluating this. You have to be. Nothing is perfect. But this process and understanding the family of ease will help you understand how to streamline what you do own, what you are in control of, and what you can do to maximize your payout and decrease your cost. And this, the effectiveness ratio, once you do this, when we get into the financial realm, and I show you how this applies in the financial triangle, and you may already be seeing it, this is what people are talking about when they say they want financial freedom. This is what Rose Hahn actually said briefly in one of her videos, but did not have the name for it. And there's 2 names for it. One equation applied 2 different ways. It's got 2 different names. In this series, it's the effectiveness ratio. And it is related to efficiency, but efficiency is a balance system. Whereas effectiveness is actually, the effectiveness ratio is actually an equation. And you can literally take this and personalize it and then throw it up against your ideal or planned outcome and come up with an efficacy result, like a visual efficacy result or solution. And that is the family of ease. Don't think in terms of time. Think in terms of your energy. And this also will empower you. Just think about it. I have a rare congenital heart condition. I've had no surgeries. I take no medication. I'm as raw as they come. What you see is what you get. And I become a police officer, a law enforcement officer at the age of 40. I had to kind of battle my way through it a little bit, but I was able and very capable of doing the job. The point being, training martial arts with masters, and I'll tell you what else taught me about energy and was I trained in Aikido with masters, and Aikido is all about energy. Now, Aikido is not the only martial art that teaches you about energy. If you learn any martial art, you should be learning about the energy that happens between two people when they are opposing each other. And it doesn't matter if it's a Chinese martial art or Iaido or Shitoru Karate or it doesn't matter. Krav Maga. It's not about muscle. It's not about ego. It's about energy. It's about energy. And it's the same thing with work. It's the same thing with business. It's about energy, and it will empower you. So even if you're in a wheelchair or you're sick and you're like, man, I don't have the energy to do this, you have some energy. And so you invest that energy you have in something. Maybe it's healing. Maybe it's spending time with your family. Maybe it's investing the little energy you have into just different avenues, different points at different times. Maybe it's investing a little bit of time reading a book and sharing that with family. Something that you find important, something that motivates you, something that you know is key. But understand that understanding the family of ease empowers you, and it is something that is crucial to learn and crucial to be honest to yourself about, with yourself about. And that's it right there. My name is T.L. Havens with the True Borough Group. I hope you've enjoyed this series. We're going to start working on the Financial Triangle series here shortly. And so I hope you have a wonderful day. But don't just have a wonderful day. Go make a great day.